Welcome back to another video here. So you're being asked to watch this video prior to coming into class, and hopefully this gives you a little bit of insight as to where we're heading before the end of term and also into term 3 and then prior to your examination happening at the end of the year. So what's really exciting now is we've finished the final SAC, we've finished the content for Unit 3, and we're beginning to move over into Unit 4. And when we look at Unit 4, we can see that the title and the focus is about training to improve performance. Now, what I really like about this unit is if we rewind all the way back to Year 11, Unit 1 and Unit 2, we learnt about the muscles and how the muscles pull the bones to make movement in the human body. And then we learnt about the cardiovascular and respiratory system. How does the body breathe in air and take that oxygen into the bloodstream to deliver it down to the muscles? We learnt about when those systems are functioning effectively and what can we do to enhance those systems. And we also learned about what can go wrong with those systems in the body. Then we started to say, well, all these systems are very similar and they work the same in theory for everybody in the world. So let's enhance the physical activity and exercise and sport for everyone in the world for the benefits. So we looked at society and physical activity in society. We then moved into Year 12. And Unit 3 came about, and we really went deep into the science, the skill acquisition. Now that we know that the muscles pull on the bones and how to make flexion, extension, adduction, abduction, pronation, supination, etc. Then we wanted to see, let's put these to some skills so that we can become athletes. And so we looked at skill acquisition, throwing, catching, etc., fine and gross motor skills, and whether it was serial, discrete, continuous. We learned about how do we learn skills and what's that continuum of learning, and how do we move from cognitive learners all the way through to associative and autonomous. And in order to enhance that, we also looked at biomechanics. So we analysed skills and movements, and we used the physics behind movement and gravity and force and mass and acceleration, and we looked at velocity and speed and distance and displacement. So we took all of that together, and then we moved into some of the more challenging, if it hasn't been challenging already, content around energy systems, acute responses, fatigue and recovery. And while they are huge topics in of themselves, when you look at them as one piece, there is a greater understanding of how is the human body able to produce these movements or these skills that we are biomechanically analysing. Congratulations if you've understood what I've said and we've gotten to this point and we're ready for Unit 4. And if I flip back over to the focus of Unit 4, we are training to improve performance. We're now looking at elite athletes. Now, the hardest part for 2020 is to understand that the study design, what we're actually learning, has changed. It's changed because of lockdown, coronavirus, and everything. And you can see that there's some crossed out sections in the official study design, and this is for use in 2020 only. So, will we still be looking at professional athletes like Roger Federer and trying to create training programs for them and enhance those professional athletes? The answer is yes. This unit analyzes movement skills from the physiological, psychological, and socio-cultural perspectives. And we look at training principles and methods to improve performance within physical activity at the individual, club, and elite level. We understand how the human body works now, so we can delve into a deep level of even the best athletes in the world. One of the things that we used to do in the past was actually participate in the training sessions. And because we're unsure at the time of lockdown as to when we were going back to school and what were going to be the constraints, they decided to take the participation section out of this. Now, if we're still safe enough to do so, we will get you to immerse yourself in some of these items because it will help with your evaluation through the laboratory work that we do, but it won't be assessed at the end of the semester and at the end of the year. You need to be able to critique the effectiveness of training principles and methods, whether they meet the needs of the individual and whether the chronic adaptations, the long-term changes that take place, will be effective. So in area of study 1, we learn about an effective training program. And then as we go through in area of study two, we look at how will we implement the training of those programs. So when we look at the assessments that you're going to be doing for this semester, we can see that one of the SACs has been omitted. Outcome 1, analysing data from activity analyses. And we won't be completing the official fitness tests, but we might look into them to determine and assess fitness components and energy system requirements. It's back. That understanding of the energy systems carries over into Term 3 and Term 4. Now the mark allocation has gone down because the fitness test section has come out of this, but you know that you're going to be asked to write a written report where you analyse data from an activity analysis. We might watch Roger Federer play some tennis and analyse what his movement patterns were, what energy systems was he doing, and we will write a report on that. So we'll work through some activities and analyse those. We'll look at the fitness components they use, whether they be things like speed, strength, agility, flexibility, and we'll also look at what energy systems they use. But you can see here that the testing of those fitness components has been omitted. As we go through into outcome 2, designing and evaluating training programs to enhance fitness components. How do we design a program to improve someone's speed, to improve someone's strength or power or flexibility? So we will be designing a 6-week training program for a case study. Is that case study going to be Roger Federer and create a training program for him? We'll work through that. The other thing that we're going to have to do is to prepare ourselves for the exam. We are going to have to give a response in a test kind of format around either a case study, data analysis, or structured questions about what we've learned about cardiovascular, respiratory, muscular systems, and how we train to improve the performance of those. Essentially, Unit 4 is a summary. It's a summary of everything we've learned throughout Units 1 to 3 so far and piecing it all together and making sure that if we understand how the body works, we can actually write a program, implement a program, and therefore train an athlete to improve the way that their body works. Please bring with you the understandings that you've learned across the last 18 months and be ready to put into practice for individuals, clubs, and elite level athletes how we can improve those athletes' performance in their chosen sport.